Up next, we have a keynote session, and I would like to introduce Sunil Thomas from CleverTap and Greg Lin from our brand sponsors, Big Fish Games. They're going to be talking about mastering revenue growth using LiveOps and contextual personalization. So welcome to the stage, guys.
Thank you. My name is Sunil Thomas. I'm the co-founder and now executive chairman of a company called CleverTap. With me, pleasure to introduce Greg Lin, who's the director of LiveOps at Big Fish Games. And today, I think once the slides show up, we're going to talk about monetization and how personalization drives monetization and a lot of it, and how you can use some modern tools and technologies. We'll hear a lot from Greg about what they do at Big Fish Games, specifically using live operations and so on. So, suspense music plays. There you go. Just the clicker. Okay, perfect. Okay, actually, it's a nice segue. A lot of you I see were in the previous presentation too. It's kind of a nice segue from that, actually, from the content there. Our industry is changing. I mean, Apple with ATT has significantly affected cost of acquisition. There's opt-in rates to ads is now not the default anymore. To be targeted by ads is not the default anymore. And we have actually, 30% is a pretty. I mean, it is not even that much in our real experience. But ad opt-in rates at best are about 30%, and that's really taken the cost of acquiring new users like tremendously high. Playtika, one of the biggest, big game developers, has stopped actually developing any new games. They don't think that the ROI is worth it to develop new games and try to get, more users into those games and so on. So this is changing. And if cost of acquisition is changing, what is the other side of the monetization game? And that is LTV. So cost of acquisition significantly changing. Not much we can do. It's the big boys, Apple, Google, etc. But LTV is the other side of the equation. If we are able to still keep lifetime value more than the cost of acquisition, we have something to work with. So what do you need to improve LTV is what we look at. There are three big parts to this. It's really about creating engaging games and sort of holistic player journeys through all of that engagement. And there are really three big buckets of what you do. I mean, there's the traditional lifecycle marketing. These are nudges. These are, sort of things to get players back into the game. Talked about some channels like push notification and so on when the players are not in the game, retargeting via Facebook, Google. All of these things work to get people back into the game. But that's more well-known, lifecycle marketing. Many people do it in different ways. It helps with segmentation and so on. Live ops, we'll talk a lot about that. Live ops is the ability to sort of calendar events, to do, triggered events, and we'll talk specifically with Big Fish Games to get you there, get you to understand that. And remote configurations actually changing the experience of the game. I mean, that's where you sort of increase the ball speed or, make it more difficult or easy based on how the player is personalized to how the player is progressing or not progressing through the games. It's all of those different things where you can even for your good players who are actually doing a bunch of in-app purchases and all that, you can even reduce ad rolls and get more advanced in order to improve their experience. So these three things are the big, three buckets, if you will, of a holistic journey, but the middle layer is what drives it. Unless you have sort of player data, behavior data, different kinds of sort of first-party data that you can control, that you can collect, the foundation of how good you are doing these three things, changes. There is a white paper. I mean, Lean Plum. So a lot of you in the gaming space know Lean Plum better than CleverTap. CleverTap acquired Lean Plum about a year ago now. Lean Plum's been serving the gaming market, big customers, Big Fish, Tilting Point, a whole bunch of Epic Games and so on for 10 plus years now. And they had a, they have a very, very unique solution that lets you holistically do these things. There's a white paper in our booth, in sort of the main hallway that goes into a little more detail here, but we call this a personalization ladder. And the higher you climb the personalization ladder, the more direct its impact on LTV is. Basic demographic segmentation is the bottommost step of the ladder, if you will. This is, calling up a person by name, maybe throw in some geography targeting and so on, to make it a little personal, right? But you go up there into behavioral segmentation. How often does a player come into the game? Is he a weekend player? Is she a weekend player or a weekday player? Morning, night, whatever. What levels has the player reached, and so on. You move it up one more layer to behavior triggered delivery of messages. Could be in-app messages. These could be, a lot of LiveOps comes in here when you do things like defeat offers, when you see somebody struggling to go past a layer, when you do rewards on certain accomplishments and all of that kind of stuff. And the topmost rung here is when the content itself is personalized. So this is about learning, avatars that the player likes, or colors, for cars that the player chooses, and so on. So you get into not only triggered, but delivering it to the kind of the pieces of content that I like drives your level up. So overall, a lot more details in the white paper, and too short a time here to look at it, but about 35% of increase you can get in your lifetime value of players by getting this personalization ladder going. There's lots of examples. I recommend you to pick up that white paper actually. The reality is that data is hard, right? The reality is, no matter what analytics platform, no matter what in-house platform, no matter what you use, it's expensive. Costs and overages come into play. There are limitations on how long you can store data for a player, and so on and so forth. And overall, it's hard to justify ROI on a pure sort of data platform or a CDP or anything like that. And I'll watch a short video. The voice is sound's not playing, but that's okay. This is the reason actually why we have invented CleverTap Gaming. So the 10 years of experience that Lean Plum has in its product has now been sort of underfitted with a data layer that we call Tesseract DB. This is a proprietary sort of purpose-built data layer. It has 11 product technology patents pending on it, and it's one of the core inventions that we have that makes data access and hence segmentation, hence personalization, hence the journey up the personalization ladder. No matter how big or small you are as a game, no matter hyper casual, all of the different types of games. So Tesseract DB, think of it like a new Ferrari engine under the very familiar Lean Plum product. It works at a lot of scale, and we're able to really innovate pricing. So you can get an MAU plan, a monthly active user plan, and that gives you unlimited data per gamer that you can store on the platform. So it's not lies, it's the truth, but unlimited data points, no matter what your MAU plan is. Obviously, if you have 1 million MAUs, you end up paying more than if you have 10,000 or 100 MAUs, but irrespective of what your tier is, you get unlimited data storage. The other plan's a data points plan. A lot of large studios take that. They get a little more control on data, and that obviously, now it doesn't matter. You get unlimited MAUs. So if it's a seasonal game, you have these spikes in monthly active users, etc. There are no surprises in your billing. And I will actually not go into the 2-3 slides, but I want to invite Greg to talk about, specifically LiveOps and specifically what they do at Big Fish, and then conclude a little bit. Sorry.
Thanks, Sunil. So thanks for inviting me to PGC. I was invited to kind of talk about Big Fish's success story using Lean Plum. And funny enough, it's actually Big Fish's second story with Lean Plum. The first time, it was actually Big Fish was actually Lean Plum's first ever customer. And then when I joined Big Fish, I joined under a studio that was managing the social casino titles, Big Fish Casino and Jackpot Magic Slots. And I was brought in to lead the live ops for those two games, which are, if you know, two of the top grossing apps in the social casino space. When I joined, I did kind of an audit of our live ops capabilities and found that we lacked the ability to really deliver what I consider modern day live ops. So that's the ability to do product optimization through A/B testing, deliver live ops content with personalization, segmentation, and be able to engage with the users through messaging. So one of the projects I embarked on when I joined was to look in the market for the tool that can do all of that and be able to deliver market standard live ops. And we looked at a bunch of tools, and Lean Plum checked all of the boxes. So on one hand, we found the tool that could deliver the content we wanted with segmentation and personalization, but on the other hand, now we needed the engine to be able to create all of this content. So the other major project I embarked on when I joined Big Fish was to design and deliver this mission system, which is essentially a way for us to create live ops events and deliver them to the players over the air. So once we had both of these together, we were able to really drive the growth of both of those apps, which are well over 10 years old. So you can imagine how significant it is to drive LTV growth for apps that we weren't even doing UA for and been out in the market for a long time. And that's due to having the right tools, being able to create compelling, engaging live ops content. In this case, it was live ops events, and delivered using data. So we're able to use Lean Plum. We're also able to use the power of our data science segmentation to drive content that are delivered using behavioral segmentation, and thus make these events and live ops content feel more personalized to the players. And so with the two of these combined, the tools and the content creation capabilities, we took that success story, and in my kind of next role in Big Fish was to basically apply this to the wider Big Fish studios. And so we packaged all of this, including how we're able to utilize Lean Plum to drive that segmentation, and turned it into a product called the Marlin Platform. Now the Marlin Platform was designed for us to be able to basically replicate this winning formula, not just in the social casino games, but in other games in our portfolio. So we were able to basically get this platform working in our flagship title, Evermerge. And whereas today it is driving revenue uplift when we are able to run our live ops content through that game. So it's been a really great and fun journey to work with Lean Plum, make this a critical component of our live ops system, and it is a key part of this, what we call the Marlin Platform. And the idea is, as Big Fish continues to grow and work with other game studios and drive towards becoming a top 10 publisher of choice in the casual space, we will use these tools, which are very embedded within our data ecosystem, to really drive revenue uplift and essentially be able to maximize the value of all of our LiveOps content. So. Yeah, and now with Lean Plum becoming CleverTap Gaming, I'm especially excited, not only because of our really good relationship with Lean Plum. They see the value of the gaming space and why we need these kinds of tools. But with all of these nice bells and whistles, Tesseract, as Sunil called it, a Ferrari engine, I'm excited to be able to test drive this Ferrari very soon. So. Thank you.
We can take a couple of questions. A lot of us, including a solutions engineer, Solomon Barry, a lot of people that you might already know are at the booth in case you want to dig into as many details as you'd like. But a couple of questions, we have a couple of minutes left. No? Sorry?
Very shy.
All right. In that case, thank you very much. Hope to see you around in the next couple of days in the conference. Thank you.